Hi guys, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my cooking channel. Today I'm going to make Salvadorian pupusas with cheese and Loroco. Loroco is a flour. It's kind of like, it's a vegetable basically. It's green. The girls won't like it. So I'm going to serve it with some spicy sauce. I'm going to make some salsa and some curtido. Curtido is basically a pickled coleslaw salad. And it's delicious altogether. It's delicious. I also can make the pupusas with stuffed refried beans. That's really good too, beans and cheese. It's kind of like a Venezuelan arepa, but you cook it with a filling inside. Come join me in my kitchen as I cook. Curtido, which is basically coleslaw. We're going to use cabbage, a red onion, carrot, a jalapeño. I have salt, I have oregano here, and white distilled vinegar. There's different ways of doing this. Some people don't put the onions. Some people don't put jalapeno. Some people use apple cider vinegar. This is what I have today. So we're going to use shredded 3/4 of that cabbage, just because I don't have enough room. I julienned the jalapeno. I shredded the carrots, and I julienned the onions. I also have 1.5 cups of water with 1/2 cup, more or less, of, 2 cups of water with 1/2 cup of vinegar. To that, I'm gonna add roughly 2 tablespoons of salt and 3/4 of a tablespoon of oregano. Once the salt has dissolved, go ahead and taste this mixture to see if it's good in vinegar. I don't like too much vinegar, so that's good. Very salty, but you need it for this amount of cabbage. So I'm putting that in there, and I'm going to add our onions and our carrots and also the jalapenos. And I'm gonna get this all mixed up and combine. Okay, so I got a bigger bowl and mixed it all together. And I'm gonna let this start pickling itself before I put it into jars. So we're gonna leave this at least for 20 minutes so it can get all pickled, or it can start pickling, I should say, and get soft. For our sauce, I'm gonna use 7 tomatoes because I have 7. I would use 6, but I don't want one to go to waste in my fridge. 1/2 red onion, 2 jalapenos. I'm also going to use salt and cumin, and I'm going to bring out some oil. Chopped up my tomatoes and onions just because I'm going to use my NutriBullet, and I don't want to hurt my machine. And I'll just leave the jalapeno whole. And I also brought out some garlic paste because this is just going to make it so much better. So the equivalent of maybe 2 to 3 garlic cloves. And we're going to stick some more tomatoes, and I'm going to blend this. All right, I had to do it in batches because obviously that wasn't going to fit in my NutriBullet. And right now I'm going to put a little bit of oil, so maybe 1/2 tablespoon to a tablespoon. That should be hot. I'm at medium heat. That looks like it's hot. And now I'm gonna cook this. We could have charred the tomatoes and the jalapenos, but I'm all for easy right now. So I'm bringing this up to a medium-high heat, and I'm gonna cook this down. And you don't want it to burn, so I'm gonna start, it's cold from the fridge, so it just completely cooled off the hot stove, or the hot pot. I can't speak today. So I'm gonna cook this down, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. But for now, before I leave it alone, I'm gonna put some salt. Salt is to taste. And I'm gonna get some cumin. And I'm only gonna use 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. A lot of people put either oregano or cumin. I think I'm just gonna, since I have oregano in the coleslaw, I'm gonna put cumin in this one. And let's wait till it cooks. Finally, for the main event. For the pupusas, we're gonna use Maseca flour. That's the corn flour. We're gonna use salt, of course. I have some cabbage still on there. Loroco, which is a flour that they use to mix with the cheese, which is quesillo, but you could use Oaxaca cheese, you can use mozzarella cheese, you can use any, shredded cheese that's mild and white like this. And I'm gonna use vegetable oil. Our sauce is basically done because it came up to a boil. Look how that color changed. See that? I'm gonna bring it down to low so it can just simmer a little bit. I want the flavors to concentrate. So I can burn my face off. Now this is gonna be spicy. The girls definitely are not gonna eat this one. But look how nice that looks. Can't wait. 3 cups of corn flour of Maseca. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just gonna mix it around there. This is kind of like how we do arepas in Venezuela. Man, I need to make an arepa video. And I'm gonna put some water. I'm not gonna use all of it. I had 3 cups in there. And I'm gonna start making the dough. See, good thing I didn't put all of that in there. So you basically want to do this until you have a nice doughy consistency. Okay, this is how our dough should look. I like my dough very soft, at least for the arepas. For this, it needs to be a little thicker, but I want to let this sit for 5 minutes while I get everything else ready. And this will dry up a little bit and harden if you let it sit for too long. But that's basically what the dough looks like. So it'll be a little drier once we come back to work with it. So here I have the cheese. That bag was a 2-pound bag of cheese and most of it is in here. I did separate a little bit to go with the refried beans if I use them. And here I chopped up the Loroco. This doesn't look so green like it would if it was fresh, but it smells good. So I'm going to use most of it. I'm not gonna use all of it. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm not using all the cheese. That's why. So basically, we are going to smush this all up. That way it's combined. So when we fill our pupusa, you get equal parts, or you get a nice combination of the vegetable and the cheese. And you basically just want to smash it up. Kind of like you did with the dough. Okay, so I'm gonna start with wet hands while our griddle is heating up. So I'm gonna pinch some of the dough, and this is how I would make an arepa. I would basically just roll it like this and flatten it out a little and stick that on the griddle and then finish it off in the oven, or you can fry them. But that is not how we are going to make the pupusas. The pupusas, you're going to keep just flattening it out. And for me, and for an arepa, that would be a no-no. But it's gonna be fine, like my daughter just said as she's playing. And basically, you wanna make a pocket in the pupusa, and you wanna get some of that filling and put it in there. And you're gonna fold it kind of like if you were making a dumpling or some kind of steamed bun. Here, pinch off the extra. And I'm gonna just start rolling it again. And you're gonna see where some is kind of escaping, but it's all right. That makes, unless you do that. Let me use a little bit more. Unless you make it too thin and make a disaster like I just did. Ooh. My griddle's getting hot. Then, you know, you want to be a little bit more delicate, clearly. And you want to make sure you can get some oil, and it'll help seal the mess that I just made. And basically, let me tie in some more here. There we go. So if my fire alarm goes off, it's just the griddle heating up. For some reason it wants to be smoky. I just wiped it down. I didn't put any oil yet. Okay, so guys, this is what a pupusa is. I do better making the second one because this one's already cracking. And it's time for the girls to get ready for bed. Well, newsflash, one of them's already asleep. Okay, so is this hot enough? The griddle is hot, and I'm gonna pop this in the griddle and start shaping my other one. I'm gonna wet my hand again, and I'm gonna get some of this dough. I might need more dough, that's what happened. And you wanna put them on the griddle. I was gonna put them in this plate that I have next to me right here, but I just put it straight on the griddle. All right, I'm continuing to make some more. This one's gonna be bigger. The dough is the consistency that I really like for the arepas. So I think maybe it's too soft for the pupusa. But it's all right. As long as you seal it and your stuffing doesn't come completely out while you're cooking it, then you're good. So now I'm gonna get some oil. And that first one should be just about ready to turn. This one looks nicer. And in all honesty, or in all transparency, I put too much oregano in the curtido, in our coleslaw. So I used the whole cabbage. I shredded up the rest of the cabbage just to make sure I can counteract that. Oh, this looks good, guys. Let me get my hands washed so you can see. This is basically a pupusa. This one's also ready to turn. So without splitting it, let's see if I can do it real quick. Nope. There we go. Look at that. Oh man, it smells so good. This one's almost done. Yeah, almost done. This one's not quite. So I'm gonna keep making pupusas, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, with my hands wet again, I've already made several of these. I'm gonna roll this one and start flattening it out. So basically one side to the other side, you start clapping it just so it can flatten. You don't want the middle too thin because then you'll tear through it. And I'm going to use some refried beans that we had left over because Mama loves some Mexican food. And I'm going to put some of that cheese that I reserved right in the middle. Get it off my hands. And this one's going to have no extra dough because I stuffed it so much. And basically, I'm going to make another one. Let's make this. I'm going to get some of the oil and just rub some oil on it. There you see where the refried beans are trying to pop out, sneak out there. And that's fine, because that way I'll know which one is the one with refried beans. And these are homemade. It doesn't have to be perfect. Look at that. And some cheese. All right. So I'm gonna get this one on the griddle. And I can make a mini one. Let's see. The mini one. I'll put some of the Loroco. And I'll just take a little tiny bit of beans. I think it needs more. I always think it needs more. There. And I'm gonna roll this one up a little better. And I have oil in my hands, on my hands, but I'm gonna take a little bit more. The oil helps seal the cracks. Water will as well, but my dough is fairly loose. So I'm not gonna put more water on it because it'll just get messier. Look at that. Okay. This one should be ready. Almost. What about this one? That one not yet. We're almost done, guys. It gets puffy. You saw that? It's the same concept of, you know what I'm gonna say, the arepa. That's kind of toasty. This one was not ready to turn. All right, we're done here. Look at that, beautiful. All right, guys, I'm going to serve myself a very hot pupusa. I'm gonna show you how this goes. I'm gonna get some curtido. I put the rest of the curtido in the fridge in mason jars, jelly jam jars, all kinds of jars. So basically you want it to look like this. And then I have the sauce. So the sauce, I can just pour it. This is very spicy. And I can just pour it like that. So we're gonna taste it. First, I'm gonna taste, let me show you. My hands are a little spicy because of the jalapeno. And I'm making a mess on my table. But basically, the longer this sits in this pickling vinegar and water solution, the softer it's gonna be. And it's delicious. Oh my gosh. It needs to go longer because I put more cabbage, but that flavor is delicious, guys. You can taste the oregano in there. You can taste the vinegar, but it's not like super vinegary, which I don't like. So I can appreciate that. And you taste all the different veggies I put in there, the carrots, this is hot, guys. You taste the carrots, the red onion. Now I'm gonna taste the pupusa. Can you see the steam coming off of this thing? Very hot. Mmm. Mmm. This reminds me of Miami so much. That cheese, that melted cheese inside of the pupusa is so delicious with the Loroco. And the spiciness of that salsa it comes through. It's really good. I just made a mess. I'm dipping it in the salsa. It's so good. It should have more filling. When you think you have too much filling, you don't. Keep going, because the filling should be oozing out of here. You know what I want to try? The one with beans. The one with beans is super hot, guys. But look at that. Yum. Okay. It's fire. Literal fire. Burning my tongue. So good. I can't stop. I'm sorry. This is going to turn into a mukbang. Mukbang. you know what I mean. So before it does, the curtido, before I forget, will last a couple months in the fridge if you keep it in the pickling liquid. And these pupusas are really good in the freezer. You just wrap them up, put it in a Ziploc freezer bag, pop them in the freezer, and then warm them up in the microwave or in the toaster oven. And that's what I'm gonna do because I can't eat all of these, even though I would love to. This is so heavy, guys. I would love to eat all of these. I'm not going to. I would explode. So I'm gonna pop mine as soon as they cool down in the freezer and just enjoy them for days. Think of it as almost like a cornmeal patty, like stuffed patty, like a pita, cornmeal pita stuffed patty with cheese and veggies and beans and whatever you want to put. Some people put pork, beef. It's Salvadorian food. I know we have some in Charlotte, but I haven't had any since I left Miami, so this is just taking me back and making me very happy. I hope you try it. If you do, please let me know what you think. I hope you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and hit like down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more recipes. Bon appetit!